Greetings, sports lovers and Dakar fans from South Africa, South America, from just across the road, Australia, Finland. Gary, my favourite place of my favourite Formula One driver, the UK, Netherlands. Godverdomme, jongen, is een hele gekke. So,
Il Maurice.
yes, absolutely, and I believe even across in that darkest little village in Cape Town, how's it, Brew? So, Gary, where are we again?
We're sitting at a beautiful lodge in the middle of Johannesburg.
Four ways, but
Apologies for everybody out there. Four ways. Four ways is not Johannesburg. It's four ways
but
South African. But,
yeah.
okay? And it's in the middle of the heart of four ways. It's a nice little rustic lodge, so you'll see the link at the end. If any of you ever want to check in here or pull in and have a party with us, just click on the link below and you'll be there.
I've got to say, you know, Gary, as executive producer, senior cameraman, soundman and director, you have outdone yourself with the venue and with some of the organizations. I see there's a bit of a switch up. The wardrobe is looking styling. Guys, the reason we're just a little bit chilled out is A, it's Friday, B, there was no racing today. They call it a rest day. We've decided to go with respite. So despite us being a little bit late, here is the respite. And the reason, Gary, we call it respite is it's not really a rest day for crews, competitors and VIPs around Dakar. They're in La Paz. It's high, it's cold, but the good news is that
Talking about cold, I saw they actually had some snow yesterday going into La Paz.
there was a lot of snow. Not only was there a meter of snow on the Sahara Desert, but going into La Paz, it's mountains very, very high, and there was a lot of snow. Llamas and snow. Because, of course, Bolivia is the place of llamas.
Supposedly the sound of a llama spitting.
Okay. And on that note, last night the crew, the technicians, engineers and rocket scientists would have had a wonderful sleep in a hotel. So linen beds and proper mattress and built shower. It would have been absolutely fantastic. Bit of a treat. And also a little bit of a later wake-up call this morning. They would have left the hotel at around about 7:30, 8 o'clock to go down to the bivouac. And again, we're talking about the sharp end of the race. I also want to talk about the guys who are just going to finish this thing. The reason that Toyota, Ford, the guys at the top, Mini,
Yeah.
who are the other guys? Oh, Peugeot. The reason they go is they only go to win. There's millions of euros spent, lots of time, there's over a year planning and hard work that goes into it. And they really, I can't read that, Gary, without my glasses on. Come on. That's like, it's got to be in like 28 font for me to see.
All right, so it's just Egon. Unfortunately, I had to run off to dinner, but Egon, you can watch us later. All right, that's Egon in the Netherlands. And to Lee Phillips, bonjour!
On the little island boy. So, hello Lee. And special shout out to Sparky. He reminded me of years ago. I managed to rearrange the body panels of an Opel in Group N. Completely unintentionally, but it just came up and bit me. And we had a spectacular crash.
Is that
And
similar to a
Sparky-
couple of things that have bitten a couple of our journo friends?
No, and Sparky and his crew, they Pit Westraat, they rebuilt cars. Anyway, this just goes to the absolutely awesome work, the blood, sweat and tears that technicians, race mechanics, race guys, people who work on race cars, they sweat blood and tears for their driver. So
Just asking on that, and just a question, so give me a bit of perspective and hopefully a lot of other people out there. Although it's a respite day, when guys are preparing for endurance racing, for argument's sake, they finish qualifying and that car goes into the pits and they just about strip it completely and reassess. Is that the same that happens for these technicians sitting in that bivouac tonight or today?
we're still back at the hotel. We're going to get there. I want to try and take us through the day. What happens in the day with the people and the car, and it's like, Gary, put yourself over there.
As we say in South Africa, whatever, Colin,
Whatever.
get on with it.
No. Okay. So they've had a great sleep, a little bit later wake up. Yesterday they were up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning for a long journey into La Paz. So today they would have had got up a little bit later, had a proper breakfast in the bus. The guys are feeling a little bit more, there's a bit of a bounce in the step. The race is not over. We're not at halfway yet. We've done 6 stages, we've got 8 to go.
Correct.
Part 1 is gone. That's
So there's no other race day
altitude.
in this.
No, now it's downhill all the way to next week,
Okay.
Sunday, which is not really a race day. Saturday is the last proper race day there's an hour, about an hour 40, hour 50 between first and sixth.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of rally left, a lot of race left. So the guys, they've got into the bivouac, and now they can actually start. And these are the Toyota Gazoo SA Racing, the Persia guys, the mini guys, the top end, who would have spent the night in the hotel. The other guys would have spent the night in the bivouac. It's a little bit more civilized than bivvies in the bush. In the desert, or from here on in that there's tar that's built up. There's a nice big eating hall. The showers are proper built. They're not the plastic individual ones, and you can actually sit on a toilet, and it's proper brick and all of that, and not smelly plastic.
From you having been
it's
there,
luxury.
From you having been there and displaying that compared to what they normally go through, just gives people some idea of how hard Dakar really is for the back end guys.
It's the other thing is just remember.
There's no roses and fancy stuff here.
No.
It's not a jol, as you say in South Africa.
People said to me, did I enjoy it? Well, hell, I don't know. And I didn't have it hard. I had an easy job.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who swing spanners and keep the cars running, they sweat. I admire them. The guys who keep those cars running, you have my absolute total respect. Well done, and thank you for the job that you do for your car, to get your car to the end, which gives us the entertainment as spectators and fans, because that's actually what we are. We're just 2 guys who drank a beer and decided, hey, we talk so much rubbish over a beer, let's try and share some of the stuff. So the guys on the blunt end of the finishers, the guys who are just going for a finish, and interestingly enough, Stewie with his VW.
That's Stuart Thompson.
Stuart Thompson with the Amarok. It's actually he's in 30 something there. Guys on their first Dakar, they're still there. And if you're in it, it's a mega achievement.
Not to forget, there's still some Nissan Navaras out there that were built by Terence Marsh here in South Africa as well.
Yeah, and Terence ran, I think, in 2015 in a Navara, and he's and a whole lot of team from Red Line are going to go and run again next year. So more South African cars, and we spoke about it earlier. There were what was the figure, Gary? It was 27 cars out of 91 that were built by Hall Speed, plus the Renaults, plus the Amaroks,
plus the Fords,
and you end up with probably
that's the Ford Rangers.
Probably 30, 38, 39 cars. Let's just for the
make it
say,
40.
because exactly.
Okay.
40 from South Africa out of 91.
Why I'm saying that is there's a couple of older models that are in this Dakar that were built 3 or 4 years ago that are still running Dakar today.
Gary, I like rounding up, and particularly when we do, as a country, as a nation, we do well. We've got to like. All right, so the guys who not on the factory teams and not on the mega budget teams would have slept in the bivouac. At least there's not a lot of dust, and you've got the amenities. And then today is wake up and re-prepare the cars. In all the testing that they've done, and in all the journey of racing in South Africa, they would have been able to life various components. So the dampers, the roll bars, the front bushes, the steering rack, the power steering pumps, all of these things would have a life that they would expect them to get to, and when they get to the end of that life, take them out and put a new one in. So it's about going through that standard list of, right, at rest day, what we want to do, and I think they've raced around about 4,000, just under 4,000 kilometers at the moment. So they'll go through out of the 10,000, and they'll go through and replace all of those items. Then there are other items that need major service. So gearboxes are a really big one, and what will happen, and let's just go back to what I know and some experience, Toyota Gazoo SA Racing. They'll take the gearboxes out, they'll strip them, and they'll replace bearings. They'll inspect every single tooth of all the gears, and if anything is slightly suspect, bang some new gears in it. When we watched them change NASA's gearbox the other day,
it's actually quite interesting.
And some of us may have thought that it was the diff, but it wasn't, because that car, some of us who shall remain nameless, that car's not a front engine 4-wheel drive bucky as we kind of know it. This is a Dakar
Then what is it?
Race machine. It's a front mid-engine bucky. So the engine is now from last year, and take your standard double cab Toyota bucky that you can pop down to your dealer, pick one up. I know Mario De Souza would love to sell you one. So the engine is now being just slightly replaced. It's got a Lexus V8, and it's dropped down and moved completely back to the point where you could probably say that it's a mid-engined car. So the best access to the gearbox is from the back. There's allegedly a very, very short prop shaft, like about that shaft long, so long, 6 inches. And it's the development of this vehicle is super trick to get the weight low and to get the polar moment of inertia down. And there are a couple of things that are when in designing and developing a car. One is polar moment of inertia, center of gravity, kind of very connected, and friction. Anything that you can do, particularly in the suspension, that it can move up and down, remove all friction to it. So those are the kind of design philosophies that they would have taken on board when developing this vehicle. So we got the gearbox out, the bearings get changed, one or two the gears might also be changed, steering rack, power steering pump, bit of an issue, and then they would also probably put in new corners, so new uprights with nice bearings, new drive shafts, gun drilled, hollow drive shafts. They are
gun drilled.
Yeah, absolutely. We make very good guns in this country, a couple of proper gun making companies, and it's the equivalent of a rifle barrel. Keep it nice and smooth. The smoother you keep something, the less chance you have of a stress fracture starting and spreading out. And then also give it a good vacuum and a clean out, because they haven't really done the strip, because the seats would have come out. You now want to go and inspect every little nook and cranny inside that car, and then put it back together, go and test it, get it back, put the covers on, tidy up and repack some of the van, because the trucks, because now for 6 days it's been on the go. And even though there's a very strict rule of keeping the vehicles tidy and neat and in a professional manner, when you're on the go,
things can become a little upsetting. In other words, they're not all back in the right places where they were when they started.
It looks a little bit rough around the edges. So now they will have tidied all of that and got it sorted. Then the vehicle gets zipped up, and it's now probably round about our time now. Ducks have gone to swim in the lake over there. Damn. So what's that, about 6:30 in the evening there?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. So around about the same sort of time, and they will probably pop off for a gentle refreshment and cup of tea, and maybe a nice meal and a gentle sleep before it starts again. And there's two things we just want to go briefly into the route tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I want to talk about the others on Dakar.
Others?
The others. So tomorrow, The drive is La Paz to Uyuni, and this is the book that everybody gets, and this is from last year. Nobody really knows the exact route until 8 o'clock tonight, which will be the briefing. I can't even see out of these things. So 8 o'clock tonight will be the briefing, and Mark Coma will present the view of the stage tomorrow, and they will give a little bit more detail of the weather conditions, the percentage of rocks, percentage of sand,
Okay.
how rough it is, that sort of thing.
So the
And
guys
then-
get some quite detailed stuff from race control.
Yeah, no, but well, it's not that super detailed, but it's a little bit more than what they've got at the moment. And then you get the code, and that code, 4-digit code, you plug into the computer, and it opens up the
The route
GPS
maps.
and the route maps, and you also get the book, and you can now start. You've got the route book, and the co-drivers can start plotting for the day and know exactly
So,
what.
so the
Tonight
co-
at 8 o'clock, this is when they get to know
So
where
the
they're going.
co-driver's not exactly going to get an early hours sleep.
No.
He's going to be working until
Yeah.
probably midnight their time.
Yeah, and Rob Howie and Dirk von Zitzwitz, they're sharing a camper van,
Okay.
so they can, and there's a code. They've got, it's awesome to see. They talk in colors, and they've got a different kind of language, and you just see the way they market it. It's mesmerizing to see these guys work, because once the car gets rolling tomorrow, you've got to focus, and navigation has been one of the big issues, big talking points of this year's race.
That's correct, yeah.
And where the organizers are trying to make it difficult. Have they made it too difficult? A lot of guys seem to think so. A lot of people are getting lost. So, but you know what? If it was easy, everybody would do it. This is
Correct.
Dakar. It's just one word. There's no other actual description for what this thing is. It is Dakar.
Just a quick one before you go on. Just to say welcome to a couple of guys. Nice young gentleman, Daniel Germany. Welcome to DirTiSweat, and wish you all the best this year, racing in the German TT Cup. Then also Ryan von der Spey. Nice of you watching us, and William Boyson. Welcome to our show. And Anne-Marie Pinar, thanks for joining us. We'll get to a couple of more of you a bit later. Egon, I think Colin did answer your question about testing the car after they put it together. Back to you, carry on, and take us to the other side.
The others.
Mm-hmm.
So the others are everybody else who, apart from the guys who are really in it to win it. People who, like the Treasury One guys in their Amarok,
Right.
their objective is to finish, which is a victory for them in itself. And they don't have they've been run by South Racing.
Correct.
Scotty Abrams does an awesome job. And to recap back to day one, he's got 5 different vehicles makes of vehicles that he's busy with.
He's got the Amarok, he's got the Dusters.
No, he's not looking. Oh, he's looking after a Duster.
Yeah.
But not the factory Duster. He's got a Toyota, and he's got a Ford, and he's got. Did we say the Amarok?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So there's 5 cars.
Just for you, it's a Ford Ranger that they're running, built in Pinetown. Neil Woolridge, thank you.
And so now they will also go through a program, but not with so much throw new parts at it, and throw lots of. They will know their critical parts on the car,
Right.
and they will go through it. And again, also they will sleep tonight in the bivouac. So the others are the VIPs, the sponsors, and the, I suppose, hangers on, because now
And journalists.
they're
Okay.
the others, because they're kind of more embedded, and they do a lot of work. But you'll see a lot of journalists come out of the woodwork on those days where it's relatively easy to get access, and if you're accredited, you can get into the bivouac. Remember, we spoke about the armbands and the RFIDs. in order to get into the bivouac, you have to be accredited, you have to have identification, and there are different levels of it. So you've got the competitors and their crew and support, and then you've got media, and there are different cards that get you into different places, different levels of media, depending on how much speculative news that you write and how you jump the gun and how, that sort of thing. And then you've got day visitors, so VIPs who will just come for the day and walk around and just get a feel of what Dakar is about, be able to go right up close to the vehicles, to touch them and to touch the drivers and get a signature from the drivers and just be part of it. It's one of the few international race events where you can actually walk right up to the guys and get a signature from them. There'll also be special, I think today is swap over day for some South African media. Some were taken over to look at the start, and now others will
pick up the balance of the road
and move on. So it's actually a very interesting day. It's also a day for people in teams to walk around and do a bit of spying and have a look at not so much what the cars are like, but get an idea of what the other teams' setups are like. And we spoke about those gazebo thingy. There's a technical term, and the one thing I love about motorsport is that a lot of technical terms come from the function of the part. So that gazebo thingy roof that's all nicely branded, that is very easy to put up and to take down. Guess what it's called, Gary? It's called an easy up. So from now on, when we talk about an easy up, that's that roof thingy that is easy to put up and easy to put down.
Take down.
Yeah, so again, Mom, she's been an absolute star, and thanks to your support, Mom, I really do appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Our sound man.
Yeah, did you know, just on that easy up,
yeah,
and this is hands up to another surfing company that actually makes those sort of things. So Brad and Nessus, I know you watch us sometimes. This one's for you. Thanks for those beautiful portable shades, as you call them, but the world calls them easy ups.
Easy ups. And then, so we've got the journalists, we've got the VIPs, and some of the teams have their pits blocked off more than others. This is also a time to go and see those terrible twins. The guys with the happiest smile on the face, Tim and Tom Coronel. They are absolutely awesome. If you've got a chance, try and follow them on social media. They are the funnest people on Dakar. And just to tie back in, it's an idea, it gives you a chance to go up and talk in a little bit more of a relaxed environment with some of the other crews and other teams, and get an idea of how they prepare and what their race trucks look like and their boxes. And there's a team, for instance, that's got a huge container, and their containers flow down, open up, and as opposed to some of the trucks. So
sorry,
that's
just shaking my head. I wasn't shaking my head at you. A couple of guests have just walked into the lodge, so we're just saying hi to those guests. Nice to see you all. Enjoy yourselves.
Would you like to come and swim? It's our respite day. We had water everywhere today. I felt a bit like the man trying to stop holes, but luckily water got calmed down. I just want to say that when we started this thing, we never knew that so many people would watch. Thanks for your support, really, and some of the comments are absolutely hilarious. Keep them coming. We'll try and find the answers. So, Gary, shall we go and rest now?
No, we are going to go and drink beer.
Gary, we need to rest. We need to recover our stores for tomorrow.
No, it's our respite day. Now it's beer time. So for everybody watching,
so despite and respite,
thank you very much. We will see you all tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Cheers.
6 o'clock. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.